What's up, guys? Welcome to a top 10 video, which is going to be an interesting video because I actually have never done a top 10 video here on the channel. So hopefully you guys are somewhat interested in a top 10 video by me. Hopefully after watching this video, if you guys want to see more, just let me know. And of what this top 10 video is going to be about my 10 favorite video games of all time. So I've played many video games over the years since I was like 6 or 7. Whenever my parents got the PlayStation 2 and the Game Boy Advance is when I first started playing. And since then, it's been a really interesting ride for me. So if you have been on Twitter or just like any other forms of media, I think Twitter is probably the only place I've seen it so far. So I'll pop up a little like a picture like here if I'm smart enough. But basically there are people who do these like 4 games that define them. And you know what? That's like cool and all, but for me, I can't pick 4 games that define me. That's really hard. And so I decided to do a top 10 video on it for my channel to just show you how diverse it is. Now the last 3 aren't going to be diverse because obviously if you've been around the channel for about the last year or so, you've seen me really pick up on this form of game. So without further ado, Jesus, can I talk? Let's get into the video. So my 10th favorite game of all time is Minecraft, and it's really hard for me to say that I love Minecraft because it's like, it's a good game, don't get me wrong. It's been around for over a decade now, I'm pretty sure, and it's just been a game that like everyone plays, like kids, teenagers, adults. It's one of those games that you can play and it can be fun, but it's hard for me to look at it as my 10th favorite game of all time, mainly because I just can't find like a 10th game that really defines me. Like most of the games on this list are in here for either, you know, I really enjoyed them, you know, when I played them, or like the nostalgia value behind them. Like they're really important to how it kind of shaped me into kind of who I am. I know that's kind of like a weird and nerdy thing to say, but yeah, Minecraft's on here mainly because of the fact that I really grew into playing it a lot when I met my PlayStation buds. It's just one of those games that you can kind of chill out, relax, and be creative in when it comes to, you know, designing a base or building stuff. It gives you that freedom to want to build stuff, and that's a very good thing indeed. So that's kind of the reason why Minecraft is number 10 on this list. And at number 9 is World of Warcraft. Now a lot of you might know what this is, but for those of you who don't, it's basically a big RPG game. That it's a big known RPG, like a fantasy RPG, if that makes sense. You know, you can play as a human, like, you know, you can play as different races, different creatures. That you could either be a good guy, quote unquote, the Alliance, or you can be a bad guy, aka the Horde. And it's just got a lot of things to it, and it's been around for a while. I'm trying to remember when it was released. I want to say 2004. I didn't really research it before this video because like I just can't remember, but it was one of those games that I played when I was a kid that I just loved. And I think that was because with me being in school and, you know, playing sports like hockey when I was younger, I only got to play World of Warcraft on the weekends. So like me getting to play it, I played it on my dad's account because he played it as well. And honestly, it was one of the most dope games you could think of as like a 9-year-old, because that's when I first started playing it, and it's just awesome. Like, you know, doing quests, you know, there's PvP battles, there's dungeons, there were raids when you got into higher levels. The fact of leveling yourself up to max, and creating multiple different characters, it added content value for you to want to play it over and over again. Now, I haven't played it in a few years, and that's just because I've been doing other things. But honestly, once I get older, I might consider asking like my dad to, have the account just so I can keep it, because I really do enjoy it, and I don't think it would be something that I wouldn't want to have. Coming in at number 8 is NHL 07. I remember playing this game a lot when I was a very, very young kid on the PS2 because I was just a big hockey fan. That was me. Story of me playing hockey was, a really funny one, watching a hockey game when I was like 4, and being involved, like invested into that, and being like, Mom, I want to be that, like right now. And it was just like, it was honestly one of the coolest things. Now, NHL 07, I'm very, very aware the graphics in today's eyes are not that good. But for 2007, I thought it was pretty good graphics, because that was sort of around the time when, the graphics game was starting to, swoop up. And honestly, it was really, really cool that that game was around, because I love playing hockey, and it was honestly just a lot of fun. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about it. Coming in at number 7 is Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games 2010. I know that is a very, very specific game, but there's a reason for that. So this game was the first Mario and Sonic Olympic game that I played. So, I didn't really do research in knowing if this was like the first, or this was just like one of the only ones that came out on like the Nintendo DS. But if it is the first one, I think this is the best in terms of like controls and mechanics, and then also the story. I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed it doing the events to the game. I thought it was a really fun game to play, setting all the records and this, that, and the other. As a kid, you're just sitting there and twiddling your thumbs with these games, because that was one of the things you actually look forward to outside of like socializing and like school, is you could play video games and, just go for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. It was amazing. So that's why it's on this list. Now, coming in at number 6 is Mario Kart Wii, and this one's going to be a little bit decisive for maybe you guys and maybe me, but I can't think of a Mario Kart game growing up that everyone else has had besides Wii, because everybody and their mother had a Wii when I was growing up anyway. There might be people saying like Mario Kart 64, and I know how good Mario Kart 64 is. I was lucky enough to play it a few times during my childhood, just didn't have a Nintendo 64 to benefit from. But Mario Kart Wii, honestly, I love the game because it's got a lot of different aspects about it. And one thing I like about it is I feel like some of the items, like, the bombs shooting people straight up in the air, same thing with the blue shells, like after an impact, that was cool. I think the courses they chose for that game were pretty good. The Rainbow Road for it is probably one of the hardest to do with like the Wii wheel. There's the fact that it's a 12-player multiplayer game. It brought in the aspects of like Mii's, which honestly, adding customization to a game makes it more interesting for people. What else? I think I said it had 12 players, but also the online aspect to it was fun. And not to mention, if you could bust that thing out with like all your friends, and you could just go. Now I know today Mario Kart 8 is like almost the exact same thing, because it can't have 12 players. But I just feel like the Wii was just better, and maybe that's just a nostalgia factor, but I think personally it was just better. I know deep down inside no one's gonna know what this game is, but I am going to go into a huge fanboy moment for a second. So number 5 is Shrek Smash and Crash Racing. Now, none of you are probably gonna know what this game is. So basically, this was a Shrek racing game that was released in November of 2006. I Googled that, but I didn't Google any of the other things I just wanted to, like, you know, mention earlier on this list because I'm stubborn. But no, seriously, this game was, I think it might have been the very first video game I played. If it's not, it's definitely one of the first, like, 2 or 3, because I remember it was the first game I played on the PlayStation. I remember I played it so fucking much that the disc is like really scratched up to this day. So I don't even know if it runs anymore on the PS2. Number 3, I played that game so much that I could take, and you know, this is gonna be the weirdest flex of all time. I could take 2 PS2 controllers, have them like this. Keep in mind, as a kid, I could race both dudes on the screen and get first and second. And you know, that's not me trying to like flex, because no one knows what this game is. And honestly, if I can find a way to show you guys this game, I will. And don't let me forget about that. So it's like, what the heck, man? I played it so much. Like, you could have, I think it was up to like 6 people racing. Like, it was up to 6 people. Like, you know how Mario Kart has 12 people racing, or well, I should say Mario Kart Wii. It's like that, but you know, for this game. The courses were very colorful and all this other stuff, and apparently, and I just found this out today, like almost 14 years after its release, and you know, after like almost a decade of me not playing it, it apparently was released on the Nintendo DS, and I didn't even know this. So I might be, you know, copping a copy of this game just to play it again, just for the nostalgia, because honestly, I enjoyed it so much, and I wouldn't mind having a way of playing. Right, so the next, I would say, like 4 are going to be very, very important. I mean, number 5 was important in the sense of nostalgia, but I think number 4 is important in terms of like really developing what I became when it came to a gamer. So number 4 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the only Call of Duty that is actually on this list. Why is that? Because Call of Duty, as it is a good game, and it has been a good game for a very, very long time, it's you know, I think it kind of should be seen in the same treatment as like people say iPhones are, saying like people will spend like $200 to get the same phone, but the screen's just bigger. I feel like it's the same thing with Call of Duty, because it's like you know, like the meat and bones of it is like, for the most part, the same. They might have some different aspects about them, and you know, that happens when you make multiple games in the same franchise. Look at Pokemon. It's rinse, repeat, mostly the same game. They have some big changes amongst them, but changes nonetheless. But it was more about, you know, it's more about the importance rather than the gameplay. Don't get me wrong, this is one of the very few Call of Duties that I liked in my early Call of Duty gaming days. I know I didn't get this year's, but like, I'm probably gonna get the next one just so I have another game to play on my downtime on the PS4. But Black Ops 2 was important for a couple of reasons for me. One, it brought in the funny nature of I was bad at Call of Duty, having a fucking 0.12 KD when I just started. I can't think of words, sorry, but when I just started, I had a 0.12 KD, which is laughable, but it was more important because it led me to meeting these people that you see me interact with on Twitter, and are in my videos most of the time, or in streams most of the time, like Marcos. I don't think I met Marcos through Black Ops 2, but I met him through someone when I played Black Ops 2. I met Dante, I met Kevin, I met Mr. Brown, I met Drake, I met so many of these people playing this game that if it wasn't gonna be, like, it wouldn't be this high on the list if I, like, hated the gameplay. But I'm saying if, like, the importance of the Call of Duty, like, of me meeting my friends wasn't there, this game probably wouldn't have made it onto the list, despite being one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time. But I think the importance of it is that I got to meet some friends, probably lifelong friends, just over this video game at 13 years old. It's Number 3 is going to be Pokemon Sapphire. Now, this is on here for a number of reasons. One of those reasons is that it's the very first Pokemon game I played. Number 2 is I'm pretty sure if it's not the Shrek game I mentioned in this list, this might be the very first video game that I picked up as a kid, thanks to my grandparents, which is shocking. But also, number 3 was the fact that this game led me to wanting to play Pokemon for the next 14 years. Whoa! No, seriously though, I'm glad that this was one of the games that I got to play so early on in my childhood, because there's so many memories about this. And you know, this is going to be a quick hint that there is going to be a special video involving me in Pokemon here within the next, I want to say, month or two, that I think you guys might be interested in. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned and, you know, come back to this video just to be remembered if you need a remembering. Anyways, the importance of this game, quick spoiler, this was a game that I actually didn't finish due to me being a silly kid and just pressing A, mashing the A button, not reading any of the text. So I didn't know I needed to get a certain move to move on and progress through the rest of the game. Basically what happened. But it is my first official Pokemon game, so I feel like it had to be on the list just because of its importance. I think that's why most games on this list are here, because of its importance. Number 2 is Pokemon Diamond, and I told you the last 3 on this list are all going to be very, very obvious, but also it makes sense. So Pokemon Diamond, next to Pokemon Sapphire, I'd like to consider them both like first, because Sapphire might have been the first game I picked up, but Diamond was the first game I actually finished. And it was funny because in Diamond, I kid you not, I spent probably 300 hours. Now, I don't know what the math is for 300 hours off the top of my head, but I know it is a stupid amount of time as a kid, keep in mind, stuck in one spot in this game, and that was when you had to give the secret potion to the Psyduck after beating, I think, Crash or Wake. That's where I got stuck in this game, and honestly, I was just like not sure where to go after this. I knew that the game wasn't done, but like I didn't know what to do. So I remember I just would Versus Seeker, beat the crap out of the trainers in like the same route underneath Veilstone City for hours. And I mean hours on hours on hours, till like the point that my starter was like level 52 or something like that, before I realized, oh wow, I need to go this way, because I just started like talking to people. Who would have thunk? But no, this is up there because, like I said, it was the first game I finished. It was honestly probably quite a blessing that I played Gen 4 so early on, because like when I look at Generations 3 and 4, I kind of look at them as like people see Gen 1 or Gen 2, depending on when they started playing. So like when it came to like I forgot to mention in the last entry, when it came to like the announcement of the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in 2014, I was like, and I remember downloading it and playing it, and like the nostalgia is seriously such a strong feeling for people that it needs to be taken into consideration when we put things like this into lists. So Diamond, whenever they announce the remakes for this, if and when, I don't know if it's going to happen this year due to, you know, the Sword and Shield DLC, which I do plan on streaming that, by the way, whenever it drops in June, which is in a couple months. So the summer's going to start off hot, no pun intended. But once the remakes for these games are coming out, you best believe you're going to see a Let's Play on it. Anyways, and the number one game that I consider my favorite of all time is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of the Sky. Now, this game came out on the DS. I want to say it was somewhere between 2009 and 2010, because that's when I remember playing this game. But, guy, I can't stress this enough. This is one of the very few games that, like, it drags you in, and it's like an emotional roller coaster. Like, it is unbelievable how good this game is, and how some people who haven't played this game before are like, they're missing out. It's honestly very, very fun. There's the personality test that you get to take. So it kind of, if you take this personality test based on whatever questions you answer, you get to choose which it chooses which Pokemon you are, and you get your partner. I'm thinking of all the positives, the guild aspect of it, the fact that you were once a human, relating to you as the player being the human controlling the Pokemon, which you probably named after yourself if you were a kid like me. The quote-unquote future. I'm not going to try and spoil too much of this. If you guys do want to play the game, go and find an emulator or a ROM of this game, or you could even go on Amazon and you could probably find this game. Hell, I found a copy of the Shrek racing game I mentioned in this list video, and that's from 14 years ago on the Nintendo DS, which I didn't know about, so what the fuck? Anyways, there's just so many things, and my goodness, the ending, the quote-unquote ending, before the credits roll, don't spoil yourself on the ending of the game. You need to play the game to understand how emotional that ending is. That's all I'm going to say. And that's the top 10 video games of all time for your boy. If you guys enjoyed that list and want to see me do more lists, comment down below what list you would like to see me do a top 10 of next. And if you want to on Twitter, you could first of all, you should follow me, and second of all, tell me a top 10 list you want me to do. I'll do my best to get out there and do it, because I enjoyed making this video. I think it was a video that could and should kind of be out there, just because it's like, wow, he's got a variety of games he's played as like child. I know not a lot of like modern stuff was on there. Hell, if any modern stuff was on there. And that's just not me being picky, like saying, oh, the modern stuff is crap. Those are just on there because it's like biggest things that I enjoyed from childhood. That's what that is. So, also, I know people on Twitter, at least when I did the 4 games defining me, they decided to do the tagging. I mean, I can try and tag people if they want to do it. They don't have to do it. They can do it on Twitter. They can do it on their own YouTube channels. But I'm going to say Drake, Mr. Brown, Dante, Marcos, you lads. You can do 4 games that define you, or you could do 10. I don't really care. That's up to you guys. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you check out, as long as this video is going up on Thursday, make sure you check out the Wi-Fi battle from yesterday. And tonight, we are going to be streaming Pokemon Sword and Shield. We are going to be finishing the game. I know I said last stream that I was supposed to finish it in that weekend, but I didn't. So this weekend, it's getting done. So come by tonight. We're going to be going at 10 p.m. CST. So, and we should be able to finish the game. We should be able to finish the champion portion tonight, and then the after game portion the following day. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Do the aforementioned. Save yourself the time. Have yourselves a good day. Stay safe during these times. Don't be selfish to others. Stay inside. Do us all a favor. Have yourselves a good day.